My own journey of moving from a six-figure freelancer to a seven-figure freelancer and business owner over the past 18 months has shown to me that there is one core difference between a six-figure freelancer and a seven-figure freelancer or business owner. And I'm going to tell you right now that that one core difference is discipline and focus. Now, when I say discipline and focus, I do not mean that means that you now have to wake up at 3:37 in the morning to have a kale coffee and then run 37.3 kilometers, all while yelling positive affirmations to yourself. That is not what I'm talking about. Because what I'm talking about and what I want to take you through in this video is that if you want to make that transition from a six-figure freelancer or business owner through to a seven-figure freelancer or business owner, what you need to do is that you need to have the discipline and focus to really look at what generates the revenue for your business and then focus on those activities. And the reason for why this is so important is because if you're already a six-figure business and you're not starting out, what that means is that we know straight away a couple of things. Firstly, that you have a product or a service that is priced right. And the reason for why we know that is because you've built that business up to a six-figure business. So you've definitely got a product that sells. Also, furthermore than that, we know that you've worked out how to convert. So you've either got a sales funnel and a website that converts, or you've got a sales team that converts. So once again, we know that that is not the problem that we need to solve. Now, we may need to improve those two items, but fundamentally, you have a product or service that the market wants, and you've been able to create a business that is able to convert leads to sales. And from my own journey, I know that it's very, very possible to sit at that six-figure level for quite a number of years. When I look back at the last 12 years from when I've been working for myself, it took me the first 4 years to get up to that six-figure status. But then from there, for the next 7 years, I pretty much flatlined and stayed at the same level. And the reason for that is because I didn't have the discipline and focus to really look at the areas that was generating revenue for my business and really focusing on those core areas. So in this video, I want to take you through the core lessons and the main focal points that you need to work on if you want to make that transition from a six-figure business owner to a seven-figure business owner. And because this is my journey, I am going to be referencing a lot of the different steps that I took in my own business journey. And the first thing that I want you to understand is that you need to truly understand that when you say yes to something, you are saying no to many other things. So the biggest lesson that I learned, and what I would say would be the biggest catalyst of me going from a six-figure business owner to a seven-figure business owner, was that I learned how to say no. And if you're like me, where you truly do like to help people, this can be the hardest thing to do because you are often not saying no to bad things, you are saying no to good things. But you have to frame it this way, and you have to understand that if you continue to say yes to everything, you're also saying no to the really, really important things. And I'm going to give you a practical example here from my own business journey. For 5 years, I freelanced to other digital agencies, and it was a great role. It was also a really positive experience. I loved the interaction with those different teams. And it also gave me some extra experiences that I hadn't had previously. But one of the downfalls of this, especially for the first 3.5 years of that journey when I was consulting to different digital agencies, yes, I was charging them by the hour, but I didn't put any rules around that. So I was effectively on call every day of the week. And what would often happen is I would have my plans for what I needed to do in that week, and then the digital agency would call and it would basically just ruin all of those plans. And it wasn't until I started saying no. But what I did though is that rather than just saying no and just being rude about it, is that I basically set up the correct forms of communication, and I rephrased it as, I'm here to help you and your business and your clients, but I'm only available on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays between 9 and 5. Now, this did take a couple of weeks to get through. They would still contact me on either Mondays or Fridays, but after a couple of times of saying no, but then also communicating with them, say for example, on a Tuesday afternoon saying, hey, just a reminder, tomorrow's the last day that you've got me this week. So if you've got any questions, please send them through today. Very, very quickly, and it was within the case of 2 or 3 weeks, I had 2 days a week, Monday and Friday, where I could focus on the things that really built my business. And I also started to doing this down to clients as well. Rather than clients being able to contact me at any time, I started the proactive process of basically giving them the rules of, this is when you can contact me and this is when, when I'm not available. But I do need to also let you know that this was after I had built up some really good credibility with both these digital agencies and my clients. So unless you start it right at the start of the relationship, you do have to make sure that you're rolling this out in the right way so that the client or your employees or, the other agencies or the other businesses that you're working with do know that you truly do have their interests at heart. It's just that you're setting around some rules for the relationship. And the reason for why this is so important, and this leads us into the next point, and that is that if you don't set that up, so if you don't learn to say no to certain things, your weeks and your perfect plans will be ruined because other people's poor planning will soon become your emergencies. So the second core element that you need to live by in your life, if you want to make this transition from a 6-figure business owner to a 7-figure business owner, is that you need to really live by the mantra that other people's poor planning won't become your emergency. So what I mean by that is that I also then started to work through with my clients, and every single meeting I'd be asking them, look, what's your marketing plan for the next month or the next 3 months? Because I wanted to remove the situation where, with a week to go, a client would contact you thinking that you could perform, a month's worth of work in a 7-day period. It just doesn't work like that. Sometimes a client may not be meaning to do this, but they just may not know, how long it takes to set up a Google Ads campaign or make some changes on your website. So what I did is I took the responsibility as the lead in this and started communicating to my clients is that this is the process if we're going to be going into a new product launch. I need 4 weeks notice or 6 weeks notice, whatever the situation is for you. The main core principle you need to understand here is that you need to really send forward that communication so that other people's poor planning isn't becoming a crisis or a priority for you. And those first 2 points of learning how to say no to certain things so that you can say yes to the right things, and then also setting up the relationships with your staff members and your clients so that other people's poor planning don't become your emergencies or priorities. That really sets it up so that you can do this most important action, which is that you need to calibrate your calendar, making sure that you're spending the most amount of time on the things that make you the most revenue. And for me, I know that this is the biggest change that I've made over the past 2 years. And for me now, what I'm doing right now in sharing more free teaching on YouTube is a core driver for my business. It's where we get a lot of our sales. It's also where we get a lot of our leads for new business. So over the past 18 months, I've had to continually change and update my calendar so that this becomes the priority. And this is the biggest thing that I felt that I missed for that 5 to 7 year period where I was just sitting at that 6-figure income, was that I wasn't spending the right amount of time in the areas which was generating the most revenue for my business. Now, this will be different for all different people, but the process is the same. Is that what you need to do is to really go back, and I went into our accounting software and really had a look at where we were getting our revenue from, what was the highest level of profit margins for the different services I was offering. And then I really recalibrated my week to make sure that that's where I was focusing my time in generating more business around those high profit areas. So what that did mean is that meant a couple of things. One, I had to organize some extra team members to really help me in areas that were important, but they weren't revenue generating. And then the biggest thing was, as I said previously, is just having that discipline and the focus to go, this is what we need to do every single week if we are going to grow our business. So the reason why I wanted to share this video is because I'm so thankful for the support that I've had on YouTube over the last 2 years. And I do want to make it very, very clear that in 2024, for those of you who have been watching my Google Ads content, that I'll still be releasing 2 videos every single week in 2024 with the latest teaching and strategies that's working right now for Google Ads. But what I'm also going to be doing is I'm also launching a new channel where I'm going to be sharing more about my journey and how you can go from a 6-figure freelancer or business owner to a 7-figure course creator or online coach. And if you would like to see more training about that subject, I want you to also join me over on my new channel, and I'll put the links in the description below. At the end of this video, I'll also put up the video so you can go through and watch the videos on that channel. But the main thing that I wanted to really clarify is that I am definitely still sharing 2 videos a week on this channel right here for Google Ads. So once again, I just wanted to say thank you so much for the journey so far. And for those of you out there watching that who do want to, like me, make that transition from a 6-figure business owner to a 7-figure business owner, I encourage you to join me over on my other channel, and you can watch the first of these videos right here. Once again, thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time. See ya.